Y'all know what it is. It's Whiskey Wednesday. And you already know what we on. That old hillside. Straight rye whiskey, straight cash. We live. We got a special guest. We got Alex from AF Artistry in the building. We're going to have a great conversation. We getting right to it, man. Y'all already know what it is. This is the G Shit Podcast. Y'all know what it is, man. This is the G Shit Podcast. Let's bring in our special guest right now. Boom. Alex, the man, the legend. Appreciate you joining on this evening, my friend.
Yeah, I appreciate you, my bro. Thank you for having me.
No doubt. So we're going to get right into it. For those of you who don't know, Alex is an artist in different mediums, but I want to start with like where you're born in the Bronx. I'm curious, like, when and how did you fall in love with painting?
I mean, since I was younger, like my father would draw, you feel what I'm saying? My grandfather was a musician, so like I was always around creative energy, but it wasn't until like I was about like 12, 13 years old, my cousin introduced me to graffiti, you feel what I'm saying? And I think from there, that's what really opened the door for me when it came to like my art, you feel what I'm saying? Like I got introduced to graffiti at a young age. And then from there, she just kind of shifted. You feel what I'm saying? Like I did that for some years, and then it wasn't until about like 2015 is when I made that transition to canvas art. And then from there, shit just like unfolded, man. So yeah, I would say really from early age, my grandfather inspired me creatively. My father doing the little doodles and sketches he was doing, and then my cousin played a major key into unlocking that door. So yeah.
And so, were any of those people in your household growing up, or what? And if not, what was your household like growing up? Like, how many siblings, and were both parents in the home?
So shit, at one point, those three people were, under the same household. Obviously, my father, my mother were in the same household until I was about like 9 years old, and then they split. At one point in my life, I was living with my grandparents, so my grandfather was an influence on me as well. And then as a young kids, like our family was big, so all my cousins and my brothers, we all lived under one house at one point. You feel me? So I have two sisters, two brothers. I got my sister Lily and Giovanni. They in Florida, and then I got my sister. I got my sister Lily and Samantha. Lily's in Florida. Samantha's over here in North Carolina with me. My brother Gio's in Florida as well, and my other brother Angel's here in North Carolina. So
Word up. And so, like, coming down from North Carolina from the Bronx, like I'm just curious, like, how would you describe what it was like growing up in the Bronx for you? Like, what are some of those memories like?
I mean, it was dope. You know what I mean? It was definitely like just different cultures. You feel what I'm saying? Like in the South, it's very like it's white, it's black. You feel what I'm saying? And there's like Mexican. It's like a small percentage of like Puerto Ricans and Dominicans, and like in New York, you get like all different type of cultures. So that was a cool thing. You feel me? The graffiti. You feel me? Like the constant art everywhere was a dope thing as well. But growing up, definitely like the areas that we grew up in. I mean, obviously wasn't like the safest. You feel what I'm saying? So there was a balance of like the positive and the negatives. And there was some parts of my childhood that were a little scary. You know what I'm saying? But I was so young that I wasn't really in tune with like that type of the shit. You feel what I'm saying? It was more so my cousin and my brother that was really into that type of field. So I was kind of seeing like a third person view of that type of thing. And but for real, for me, man, what I really took from it was just the culture, bro. You feel what I'm saying? The environment. It's like a whole different environment up there, bro. Like people that live in the South go to New York and it's like they're mind blown. You feel what I'm saying? Like the energy is different. The way of traffic, the way you commute. You feel me? So it's just a lot of things. But the graffiti is definitely a big inspiration for me.
Word. Yeah, that's crazy because like you don't see necessarily a ton of graffiti. You do see some down here, but it's definitely not as prominent, as a place like New York City or especially, I guess, the Bronx.
Right. Yeah, nah, definitely. Like out here is like it's just in certain places, man. Like you can't really be out here like ballsy as like New York. New York, you stamp your shit anywhere. Out here it's kind of like you got to be on the underpasses or just those low key spots. You feel me? So it's definitely different, bro. It's definitely different. I feel like my art, as you can see in the background, kind of speaks to that same energy that New York has. You feel me? It's just like it's loud, it's in your face. You feel what I'm saying? It's like it's there unapologetically. You feel what I'm saying? So yeah.
I'm curious, like comparatively. Question from the from a listener here wants to know, like, I'm curious too. Like, so seeing the graffiti down here versus what you were inspired by, how would you describe NC's graffiti scene from what you've seen compared to how you describe what it was like in the New York area?
Describing NC's graffiti scene to New York. I mean, I don't know. I feel like at the core of it, man. Like every graffiti community has like those spots. You feel what I'm saying? Where it's just like constant mashups of just like everybody hitting that shit. So there's certain points, there's certain areas here that I would say that definitely give me that New York vibe, but it's definitely different. There's nothing compared to it, bro. Like New York is New York. You feel me? And down here, it's like I said, everything is spread out. You feel me? You rarely find spots like that. You feel what I'm saying? It's rare that you will find like a graffiti spots that are being hit or just those. I don't know. For me, I haven't really found a lot of spots out here. You feel what I'm saying? For me to really grab that inspiration, there's just like a couple that I've seen, but it's nothing compared to like just going back home and really just soaking in all that energy because it's everywhere. It's on buildings. It's everywhere, bro. You feel what I'm saying? So I can't really compare that. You feel me? I don't think NC has anything on New York. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. So it
Yeah,
has
nah.
it's
I
not
mean,
touching that at all.
so I'm curious. All right, you were into painting, but then you got into graffiti. So, like, what was your introduction to the graffiti scene in the city?
My introduction to the graffiti scene, it was really my cousin, like I wasn't really paying no mind to it. Like, it was there, it was around me, but as a 12-year-old kid, I'm not really thinking about that. You feel me? And then it was just one night I was at my aunt's crib, my cousin came through and he was like, I'm about to take you out tagging. And like, I used to be geek with my cousin and my brother was like, yo, you come outside with me because I'm over here just a little kid, like, oh, we out. You feel me? So I had to been like 11 to 12. And we went out there and I tagged like two spots. You feel what I'm saying? And for me, I've always been an adrenaline junkie. So like, it was just dope. It was nighttime. We out tagging. You feel what I'm saying? And then it's funny because when we got back to my aunt's crib, my dad's there. Everybody's there. Everybody's pissed. My dad's pissed. He gets in trouble. You feel me? I get in trouble. But little did they know that my cousin doing that for me really just led me on this path to where I'm at now. You feel what I'm saying? So it's really like a full circle moment and a joke that I have amongst my family because back then we was like in trouble, and then now it's like they see what I'm doing, and it's just like it kind of
Yeah.
sense. You feel what I'm saying? So,
So I'm curious, like especially for people listening who might not know much about graffiti. When you say tagging, like, what is tagging?
tagging is just like putting, writing your name on the wall. You feel what I'm saying? Tagging is like, shit like this, regular words. You know what I mean? You got a couple different forms of graffiti, but tagging is one of them. It's just you kind of just like a cool hand style. You feel what I'm saying? It's like your little stamp of whatever
Mm,
your name is or whatever you trying to, whatever message you want to give out to the world. That's what you put up there. And then you
mm,
got shit like, throwies. Throwies is more so like bubble styles and like, cool little font shit. And then you got like pieces and burners. Those like the fonts and the styles change and evolve from that. You feel me? But
mm.
tags is like the number one thing. That's like the first thing you gotta learn. You feel what I'm saying? Before you go out there, you can't just be going out there writing anything on the wall. You gotta get your hand style right, your style right. You gotta be unique in your own way type shit. So
Word. So them OG tags, like, what was the like? Because I know the logo now. I'm guessing that's like a tag to some degree, like the logo that you have. Like what was the OG tag? I'm curious.
the OG tag, honestly, it was well, I can't say what the tag was, you feel what I'm saying? I can't say what you know what I mean, but I would say just the OG of this. It was similar to this, man, but it looked like, some kindergarten handwriting thing, you feel what I'm saying? I had two dots instead of three, you feel me? And I think over time, like, I don't know, I think I just had like a vision in my head when I saw this in particular based off what I had, initially. And that's just how that, came about. Just
Mm,
it became a stamp, you feel me? It became a symbol. To always just do what you love, you feel what I'm saying? And to do what you love, like, the AF is my initials, of course, but the meaning to that is like, always focused, or always and forever. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like always and forever, it's just kind of being who you are. You feel what I'm saying? Always and forever being present, always and forever growing, and just being unique in your own way. You feel what I'm saying? Like living your life type shit to the fullest.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
That's dope. That is dope, man. Like, um, as a guy who grew up in North Carolina, heavily influenced by the New York hip hop scene, like I like to ask questions like this because, as you know, like I grew up in Durham. It's nothing like, say, the environment you grew up in and being around all of that. Like you said, culture. Like it's just something you
Right,
can't
right.
you can't replace. You can't take it out of the city. It's so unique to New York. And so you were around 12 when you started tagging. Like, at what point did it become like, nah, like I'm all in on this?
Shit, at a young age, man. Like it got to the point where I had a group of friends when I was younger, and I literally got all of them the tags. You feel what I'm saying? So when I was younger, we used to like go rack cans and like do crazy. This is all like 13, maybe 13 till I was like maybe like 16, 17. Like I had like a just a deep run of like doing my thing, and then I had got into some trouble. Um, and after that, I took like a 4 year break. You feel what I'm saying? And life happened. Get into relationships, shit like that. But as like life was going on, I just always felt like something was missing. You feel what I'm saying? Like graffiti was a big, part of my life, and it was like a one of the main outlets I had. You know what I mean? Growing up, so not having that anymore kind of left me. I don't know, just left me searching for other things. You feel what I'm saying? And when I really got down to it, it was like, okay, I started getting the urge to go out and paint again. But
Hmm.
obviously, it's just like I'm not trying to be, vandalizing and doing all this crazy shit. So it's like, how do I go back, feel this free feeling, but be productive about it? You feel me? And then that's
Hmm.
just when the canvas art came in. I got some canvases. I started painting again, and then I started using spray paint on canvas, and then it became such a spiritual thing for me. You feel what I'm saying? Like that self expression was such a healing. Uh, just a healing outlet for me, man. And it just evolves from there, bro. That's what it was. So I would say around 2015, 2015.
So how old were you around this time when you went to the canvas?
The canvas, I was like 2015. So I don't know what's that. I'm 20, 26 now, man. So I don't know. I can't really do the math. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying?
Okay, so 12. I can't do the math right now either, but it's
I was like
somewhere.
17. I was probably like 17, like 17, 18. I don't know, some shit like that. I was
Okay,
probably
okay. So later teen. So I'm curious, like, because like the way, and I'm asking this too in part because like of how a big part of your brand is mental health and art, and the way you just sort of describe that being therapeutic for yourself. And I'm curious, like, if you don't mind sharing, like, what were just some of the things that art, like, you feel like really like helped you cope with, or saved you from at that time period?
at that time period, man. Man, honestly, like, well, one thing, it kept me out of the streets. It kept me from doing different shit. You feel what I'm saying? Because the same group of friends that I told you I got into I got them into graffiti, and I used to do that with them. They all went different paths. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like this was a form of me of like coping and like letting out all this frustration out. And it was a form of them. It was the same thing for them as well. But they all took different routes. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
And some of them start, getting in the gangs, you feel what I'm saying, hitting legs, robbing people and doing these different things. And that kind of this right here kept me on a straight path of like, I'm not vibing with all that shit. You feel what I'm saying? Like this is what was for me. And so that's one thing. It allowed me to heal and really pretty much like identify with a lot of things that I couldn't really process within myself, when it came to my anger, when it came to
Mm-hmm.
like my childhood traumas, and like, really um really just kind of identifying how much it affected me, my father not being there growing up. You feel what I'm saying? So it was a lot of different things, bro. There was so many things that were happening to me as a child that I didn't know how to process that. So as a
Mm-hmm.
young child, I was bugging out. Like before I got into graffiti when I was younger, like I had an anger problem. I'll get into fights at school, you feel what I'm saying? Like I'm playing with weapons and shit like that. That's a whole nother, but that's just because nobody was telling me, how to handle these emotions. And I think
Mm-hmm.
art was a healthy channel, and it's still to this day a healthy channel of me processing the positive and negatives out of my life. So yeah.
Man, yo, man, shout out to you because I relate to that too a lot, man. Like growing up, I shared on a previous pod, I got put in this anger management program as a kid, and that really helped me like learn to identify triggers, do different things, react differently, because the way that I was going, it was definitely destructive behavior in reaction to how was feeling emotionally. And so hearing your story about art, man, I think that's I think that's important to highlight and hopefully spread the word on, because it is therapeutic. Like anybody who creates, like when you're in that vibe, whatever your artistic zone is, and you fall into it, it is really like euphoric to some degree. It can really like take you away from whatever you're facing in your reality. And so hearing how art did that for you is I appreciate you sharing that. When you were doing your canvases early on, like at what point did you say, you know what, I might could sell one of these joints?
Um, Man, I'm gonna be completely transparent with y'all. Like, this is where the hustle mentality came from. Like before I even went into it full time and got into canvas art, I was just hustling. You feel me? And for me, like I just transferred that mindset onto canvas. So a lot of things that y'all see me doing now is stuff that I learned over the years. Nobody told me about prints, website, all this shit. All I knew in my mind was like, I'm gonna buy this canvas for however much, you feel what I'm saying, do my thing and flip it for that. And that's just what it was. So yeah, I just kind of went into it like that. Yeah.
So early on, you were already thinking like how you were gonna make your
Make some
art
bread.
and
Yeah,
flip it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Because it was just like at that time it was like it was just, bro, hustling is not a long, it's not longevity, bro. You feel me? That's quick money. That's shit that you do for the moment. And for me, that just was never, at that time I was in a relationship, you feel what I'm saying? And I was trying to do all these different things and that wasn't giving me what I needed. You feel what I'm saying? In a sense, you feel what I'm saying? The money I was making from that wasn't really supporting anything that I really want to do long term. And it was just like high risk, bro. You feel what I'm saying? Like it's like low reward and high risk. You feel me? And I feel like with the art, it's high reward and low risk.
Hmm.
And that made sense to me in my head. And then plus it was something that I love doing. This shit is dope. I'm doing graffiti on canvas. I'm being transformed in a way that I wasn't able to understand, but it was making sense. You feel me? Things were in alignment. Like I was meeting people. I'm having open conversation. Like you know, I said this in the panel talk I had a couple weeks ago. It's like through the canvases I made and the people that have, the people that have looked at my art and really felt some type of way and them opening up about themselves, it bridged the gap for me and it helped me process the things within myself because I'm like, I was just I do a lot of freestyle stuff, bro. I just build in the moment. So I'm really dealing with my emotions and I'm really like painting from my subconscious mind. So when somebody digests the work that I do, and it makes them feel comfortable enough to open up about themselves and their personal life, it helps me identify and process things within myself. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So like I'm hearing like say like if you was explaining yourself, man, and you said something that really, made you just feel just connected to the piece, man. You open up about your personal life and it connected with me. It helped me understand more on where I was at in that time frame when creating the piece, if that makes sense. You
Hmm.
know what I mean?
Hmm.
So yeah.
Yo, that hold up. Now, I gotta respond. That's fire, but I gotta say, I love Soul for Real as well. But can they turn that down for just a tad
Oh
bit?
my fault, bro. I got that shit
My
playing in the
candy
background.
rain.
That's a classic. That's a classic right there.
Yo, and
That's,
so like I appreciate you talking about that, because how I've come to know of you was via, so my wife was at an event, saw your table, and then got you to produce a piece of art for her that she uses when she sells her real estate, or not her real estate, but when she helps people buy real estate, rather. She's a
right,
realtor in
right.
North Carolina. And so that sold sign that she gets her clients to hold up was created by yourself. And so additionally, when my cousin's daughter saw a picture of that, of someone holding up a sign, like it caught their attention of like how cool it was. So then I reached out to you and it was like, can I get that recreated for my cousins And what would that, what would that look like, given that it was just a random sign that you created, out of the blue? And
Right.
so that's how I remember getting to or getting introduced to you. And then upon picking up the board that you made for my cousin, I came to your location here with all the art on the wall and a bunch of cool things that you were doing. But I guess my question is, before I get to this location, is like, you were in New York, like why did you leave, and why North Carolina?
So I mean, that was pretty much out of my control. My mother, she was working at Wall Street, I believe, at the time when we was in New York, and then her job just moved her to Raleigh. You feel
Mm,
me? And it was where they, they moved her. She was just transferring. They was going to handle the house and all that. So when we first moved over here, she was set. We was set. We came over here, had a house, everything. We moved in like the suburbs or whatever, and like, everything was cool. And so it really was out of my control. You feel what I'm saying? And that it just kind of felt like that. Um, but yeah, I mean, it was just my mother. My mother was the one that really influenced the move out here for sure. And then shortly after, my father pretty much didn't make the move either. You feel what I'm saying? So it was really a big transition for me because we moved to a whole new state. You feel what I'm saying? I'm young. I'm like 9 years old at the time. I really don't know what's going on. And then, you know, new school, new all that. You feel what I'm saying? And it's like you go from the city, and the city is just like, it is what it is. And then you come out here and it's like the suburbs. And
yeah.
it's like and trees. And it's like you can't go nowhere past your neighborhood. And it's just like, what the fuck, right? So yeah, that was just a big transition, bro. It was a big transition for me as a kid.
So like, so at what age were you when you came and you had to make that adjustment from the Bronx area to here?
I was 9 years old. I was like
So
around.
so what was it like adjusting? Like what, like you mentioned that, but like what, like how did you ultimately deal with that? Like was that a part of some of the I guess feelings that you had to learn to deal with? Like just
Right. All that. I think the main thing was my bro. The main thing was my father not being there. That was like I couldn't say a lot of other things, but I think it was that.
mhm,
And then being so young, and then like my family as a whole just going through a process with the move. You feel what I'm saying? Because we had a big family, and then once that move happened, it was like the family just split. You feel what I'm
mhm.
saying? So now I got my mother here being a single mom, taking care of 3 kids. You feel what I'm saying? A big ass crib and like whole new lifestyle. And then like she got to deal with her man not being there. You feel what I'm saying? And then we got to deal with our father not being there. So that just it went down a whole other path from there. And yeah, so that was just one of the many things, man. That, like I said, I think it built anger, it built sadness, it built up all these emotions that I didn't really know how to cope with at a young age. So it left me doing things, just destructively, bro. Like my anger, you feel me? Like I said, getting into fights and doing all wild shit, and ultimately like not being the best son. You feel what I'm saying? Like not being the best son, not being the best brother. Like it just put me in a whole other weird space. But you know, shit that I had to learn from, bro. And art really helped me identify with, make sense of a lot of these things. Art really helped me heal from a lot of these things. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's important to share this in my opinion, because I think a lot of young people, they have trouble figuring out how to process emotions, and yet at a high rate they're taking away art programs in schools, like the access to be able to explore these artistic areas is somewhat limited, especially depending on your environment. So I do think it's important that we as a community understand that that is like almost like a gift, and if you have options to put your kids in these artistic areas, like you should be encouraging that, I think, in my opinion, as much as possible for the next generation,
right,
because as we continue to progress, I think we lose touch with being artists and creators and having that outlet. And I think you sharing this is just will help us highlight like the importance of having that outlet and what it can potentially do for a lot of young people that are in similar situations, trying to figure out how to deal with this anger, this sadness, and having no other way to do it with other than destructive behavior. And so
right, right.
it's like, at what point did you actually say, you know what, I want to try and build something and help other people with my art? Like, how did we get to a point where, and if you forgive me, like, can you say the acronym of the nonprofit? But like, how did you get to a point where you ultimately got to this nonprofit where you're merging mental health awareness and art?
So okay. So basically, I'll just go from the beginning of me acknowledging that I want to use my, I knew from a young age that I was going to do something that was going to help, with the, just the evolution of like human consciousness. You feel what I'm saying? Like I want to help people in that way to where they feel more free and liberated within themselves. And like, before I dove into the art, through that break period of doing graffiti, having that 4 year break and then getting back into it, I did a lot of learning. Like I was reading a lot of books, you know what I mean? I started on this like whole spiritual journey. And, I grabbed a lot of inspiration from different music artists like, Tupac, you know what I mean? Like, um, nah, man, I'm gonna be honest, man. Tupac was probably like a big inspiration for me because his raw energy into what he was doing in his craft and also his message, and the type of impact he had on a lot of people's lives. You feel what I'm saying? And so there was that. There was like other artists like Joey Badass and like the Underachievers and like just that whole 2012 era. You feel what I'm saying, of like rap or like that New York rap. It really just kind of shifted me mentally when it came to the music. And then it was so good because I was already on that path of reading and embarking on this spiritual journey and understanding like the power of influence and like just I would say maybe the introduction to my awakening and my purpose. Like that was that. So in that period I gained that type of understanding that i'm gonna I'm gonna influence the world. That was again, it was like cooking and embedded in my spirit that that's what I'm gonna be doing. And once I got to the point where I got back into my art and then, I started painting again, and then that spiritual connection connected with me and what I was doing, that's when it solidified in my mind, okay, like this is definitely what I'm supposed to be doing. Like it's part of my purpose, you know what I mean? Um and I'm sorry, bro, not to it says recording error. Open the recording tab to learn more. It says that on my end. I don't know if it's showing it on your end. Are we
Nah, it's
good?
looking good.
We good? All right, my fault, my
I
fault. All right,
think
so
we're
boom.
no worries.
So yeah, there was that. You feel me? So I had that awareness, and so yeah, ever since I really went full time with my art, man. Like it's always been a healing thing. It's always been with the purpose of helping somebody understand, or just put in a mirror, put in a mirror, um, in front of the viewer. You get what I'm saying? Like my art sometimes is chaotic. My art sometimes is like too much to digest, but like that's what life is. You feel what I'm saying? Like a lot of people like to look at life just positive, blue skies, you know what I mean, green grass, but it's not like that. You feel me? So with my
Mm-hmm.
art, I like to paint a picture of what reality is, and but put it in a way where it's digestible for that viewer to really be like it's okay for me to address like my, you know, the shadow side of myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, um, so yeah, so there was that, and then so I've always had that in myself to really to know that I'm going to be influencing the world and influencing my community. Um, and it wasn't until like I started connecting with people that I call now my brothers, and the idea of having a art collective that was going to be self-sustainable has always been the goal. But I was assuming that this was going to happen like years down the line after I solidified myself as an artist, and then eventually I'll do community work. But for me it's like you have to pay attention to you have to be open and pay attention to the relationships that you build. And this is how this came about, man. Like I had the idea in my head. I had BTM, the art collective. I met my business partner, Adrian Horton. She's a mental health therapist. That's my that's my heart right there. And we connected randomly, and not randomly, but it was an alignment. And
How did
yeah,
you connect? I'm like, what, like, how do you cross paths ultimately, if you don't mind?
Nah, I would love to dive into. I just don't want to keep going on the rant, but so
It's
the
not a
start of
rant.
that,
It's a podcast.
right. It's a pod. I don't know, man.
We here to talk, nigga. We
Right.
here to talk.
Yeah, my first podcast I'm on, bro. So
Hey man, well shout out to that, man. First of many more, man.
right, right. So we had a very genuine connection, man. So funny thing is that there was an event in Raleigh called Summer in the Carolinas,
Mm,
downtown Raleigh. I forgot what park it was at. So I'm vending there. I'm doing my thing. It was the funny thing on her end. So she was doing an event, but that shit was like 3 blocks down. You feel me? But she ends up pulling up to this event thinking that that's the event she's supposed to be at. Surprisingly, they let her set up and everything. So this whole time she been at the wrong event. You feel me? So we connect, and we just start talking. We was talking all day, man. And then like it got to the evening time, nighttime. We was packing up, and when I kid you not, we talked for hours, yo. Like, and when you meet those type of people that just have that energy inside them, like it clicks like that, like this person for forever. You feel me? And that was just one of those type of situations. And like before we left, we was like, we gonna work soon. You feel what I'm saying? And then I had met up with her in Durham one time just to have a meeting. She was like really giving me game on like life insurance and like a lot of
mm,
things on the business side that me as an artist did not know.
mm,
All I knew was creating my art and selling my art. That's it. I didn't know about no LLC. I didn't know about any of those things that really were gonna set me up for that long run journey that I was trying to accomplish. So we met then second time. The third time we met was randomly in passing. I'm in Greensboro at this event. She randomly hit me up like, "Oh, I'm about to be in Greensboro, vending at this spot. You know what I mean? Like, if you free, like, let's meet up." Funny thing is, I just walked into the same spot that she's about to vend at. So like we literally passed each other, in passing or whatever, and then we ended up, linking at that event. I think that third time was like a solidified event for me and her to be like, you know what, like we keep running into each other. You feel what I'm saying? Things are happening to where work, and so that was that, and I don't know, like, maybe a couple weeks later, but it was a time where I was thinking about BTM, and I'm like, okay, how do we? I got the artist collective, I got mad dope artists in a group chat, but the group chat ain't doing nothing, right? Everybody's just kind of sending their art, and it's just kind of like at that point it was dead, and I didn't really know how to go about it. And I saw this video on TikTok, and they were talking about nonprofits. You feel what I'm saying? And I was initially thinking like, how do I take this thing and like, how do I make this a stamp to be a positive thing in the community? So when I heard about nonprofits, it was a thought. She texted me that night saying, we gotta talk about business. So I was like, bet, call tomorrow. I called on the phone. I mean, we talking on the phone. First thing that comes out her mouth is, I think we should start a nonprofit. And I kid you not, that shit blew my mind because it was a thought in my head. We spoke it out loud. You feel what I'm saying? And like, so that was there. You feel me? And I was telling her about how I had a thought, and she said it. So we was both geeking on that shit. And she's very spiritual. Like I say, dreams are real, and her slogan is manifestation is real. She's a big a believer in manifestation. So we had that agreement. We talked that night, and we was like, man, like we're gonna have to think on a name because I have Bendamon, right? She has Metamorphic Studios. And I wasn't trying to give up my name. She wasn't trying to give up her name. So it's like, how do we combine the two, right? So we was like, we probably took like a 4-day break, think on the name, couldn't think about shit. You feel what I'm saying? So she calls me, she's like, I think I got it. How about we call it Bendamon Metamorphic Academies? And when she said that shit, it just rang bells in my head, and I said, that's the one. You feel what I'm saying? I
Yeah,
said that.
that's crazy how it just merged together like that. So, because I would my some of my questions were going to be about the BTM collective, like
Right.
what has been the mind mean, and like who were some of those artists that you're working with as a part of that collective. If you don't mind shouting out some of those names.
Right, yeah. So I mean, the collective is like an accumulation of artists, man. As far as on the collective side, we got Edwin. He's a artist out in New York. We got my homie VR. He's a music artist out in New York. We got myself. We got Tay the Shooter. He does photography, videography. We got Lanny. He's a filmmaker. You feel what I'm saying? We got my homie Jason Hampton. He's another filmmaker. You feel what I'm saying? He does photography, man. I got Leah. Leah's an amazing artist. Um, I feel like I'm missing. There's a lot of people and I'm missing them, but it's just a group of dope individuals, man. Like the energy is there, bro. We just connect on a brother sisterhood type of vibe, and that's what that is. As far as the collective, and now when it comes to the nonprofit, we got our team members, which is me, my business partner Adrian. We got Felipe, he's a therapist. We got Brian, he does IT and fitness, so like boxing. He also does gaming. We got Tay, he does the photography. We got Stefan, he does art, and that's just us right now, bro. I think it's just us five. We just rocking. You feel what I'm saying? That's the team for the nonprofit.
Word. No, that's dope, man. And when it's dope also too hearing like the background of how everything sort of came together because you know I appreciate your slogan, dreams, manifestation is really all one and the same. And I came
Right,
across something where it just always stuck with me, and it's that the universe is mental and everything begins with a thought. And it's like I truly believe that. And so
right,
when you have the ability to then really think powerfully, you can have a strong impact. And so like I really applaud you for speaking how you speak, having the thoughts that you think, because they're grand thoughts. Like you're
right,
thinking on a grand scale. And that is a great, that's a great characteristic because it all starts with the thought. And so you
right.
got to believe it first. And so um I appreciate you sharing how everything came together, like, but you came together like, so what is the mission of the nonprofit? Like ultimately, like you got the mental health, you got the art, you got a therapist, like so like what is that nonprofit here to do?
The nonprofits here, man, it's just simply, bro, break barriers, help break generational trauma, bro. It's a place to learn, grow, and inspire, man. We want to inspire other people to, you know, find who they are. You feel what I'm saying? Like identify with their purpose, man. Like truly, live their life, bro. We the mental health aspect is very important to us because a lot of us suffer from that. I mean, no matter the degree of it, you feel me? We all are affected by that in some way, form, or fashion, bro. So we take that very important, man, and we really focus on like building a community of like-minded individuals, bro, that want to help other people. You feel what I'm saying? And really make a change in the community. And yeah, it's about growth and healing, bro. It's about growth and healing.
And you have a mental health professional, you have a therapist. Like, what are some of the services that, like, if I'm a local in Durham and I hear this, like, what are some of the services that I could maybe expect if I come across your nonprofit?
So we're gonna have therapy for the community. We have self-expression programs. We have community paint sessions. We have boxing classes. We have gaming and how gaming can be used as a form of like an outlet for mental health. We got Brian that does IT. We got Tay that does photography and video. Felipe also does podcasts. You feel what I'm saying? And he has this workshop where it's called "I Got a Story to Tell." So it's basically teaching others how to express their story using media. Um, so it's pretty that, man. It's like really. I want to say it's just a BTM is an outlet, man. BTM is an outlet to find who you are, to help and assist in finding who you are, and to help and assist if you already have a vision, kind of like making that pathway a little clear. You feel me? Providing some direction. Not giving you the answers, but providing direction in any way,
Mm-hmm.
whether that's emotionally, spiritually, mentally, financially. You feel what I'm saying? Like we're here to help in any way that we can. Um, because we all needed that at one time. You feel what I'm saying? I think collectively we came together to provide that for the community, so that way they know that there's a place to come and a safe space to come if they're questioning it. You feel what I'm saying? They're questioning life. You feel what I'm saying? They're questioning their path. They're questioning their passion. There's just a safe place to come figure that out. So
That's
yeah.
dope, man. Shout out to that, man, because I've also seen, like, since I've connected with you, I've seen y'all do stuff like where y'all have kids come in and it's like freestyle session and they're going crazy with the paint and the art and everything. So it's like it's dope that y'all are offering these things to the community. So like if I wanted to take advantage of what you're doing and get to know more, like how would I be able to do so?
Really just following us on Instagram. going to our website, you feel what I'm saying, signing up once we have the programs up, and really just staying connected with me, my team, and the nonprofit page. Like that's, that's how you kind of pretty much get tapped in with us. We have a set program that happens every month. So like every third Friday, every third and last Friday, I have a community paint session. And those are the sessions that you're talking about where people come through. There's a big canvas, everybody's throwing down, and it's just a safe space. We got food, vibes, good conversation, and it's giving up a chance for people to express themselves through color, through
Mm.
words. You feel what I'm saying? The imagery. So, yeah, yeah,
That's dope, man.
yeah.
So yeah, so if you're in the area, really in the triangle, and you're looking just for a different outlet where like we said, like having access to these artistic outlets even is a big challenge. It's one right here that's potentially in your backyard if you're in the triangle and you might not even know. So what is the social media in the website for the nonprofit? Like do you,
So yeah, the website is btmma.com, and then the IG is btm.metamorphic. Those are the
okay.
two joints you could tap into. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So if you out there listening, make sure you tap in, check that out on IG and of course the website. So in addition to the nonprofit though, like you also are all around the area doing like custom work for different businesses, entrepreneurs, just people's just personal cribs. Like, just talk to me a little bit about how you've also been able to build a clientele for, I guess, what we say commission pieces, if you
Mhm.
will.
Yeah. I mean, that took time, man, and that's what I was kind of trying to say earlier with just like paying attention to the relationships that you build. I think a lot of times most of my sales do come from social media, but what outweighs that is word of mouth. You feel what I'm saying? So like my clients, my previous clients, they also spread the word, and that's how things kind of come back full circle. But for me, it was just like I said, I started doing canvas work. um from there we went to shoes, clothes, and like then eventually got to murals. You know what I mean? So I think for me, what got me to a point where of growing my clientele was to focus on being a versatile artist. You know what I mean? Like I do logos, I do custom clothes, I do shoes, I do walls. I pretty much paint on anything. You feel what I'm saying? I got shoes here, I make merch. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like that was my whole purpose, man, because one thing I did learn through this whole process is that this shit comes in waves. You feel what I'm saying? So there's times where the canvases is popping, and there's times where the murals is popping, and there's times where them shits is dead, and like, but the clothing is keeping me afloat. So really learning how to balance all these different type of just different type of avenues in my business has been like a big thing when it came to like my clientele surviving as a full-time artist, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Facts. Like you showed a couple pieces, but like let's talk about those joints because I think that's one of the dope things about like what you offer from a merch standpoint. Because
Mm.
you're very much like it's not like factory printed, if you will. Like you're gonna be having the paint out, freestyling on the joints. It's essentially everything's one of one. A lot of
Right.
what you produce. So, like, can you bring that shoe up again? Like, you got anything else in arm's length? I'm curious to just kind of like talk me through some of these joints here for people to see.
Yeah, I mean, we got some custom shoes here, man. I mean, I got this over here. I even got like this custom crew neck. You feel what I'm
Mm,
saying? I mean, it's like stuff like that, man. And it even took me a while to, get to this point in my artistry to understand how am I going to implement my style of art on clothing. You feel what I'm saying? My style of art into a mural. Like it took a minute for me to get to this point, but I do custom clothing. I try to be different. You know what I mean? I don't try. Like I just do my thing, and that's what's allows me to stand out from everybody else, man. And man, I even got it. Let me go get this trench coat.
yeah. I was even gonna say like at some point you should just pick up whatever you recording on and like show the people too some of the dope shit on the walls, cause
Yeah.
oh yeah,
See,
no,
like,
that's crazy.
you know what I mean? So this is one of the fire pieces I got. Um, shit. I mean, I can show y'all some of the walls behind me here. You know what I mean? I did a lot of graffiti type of style. All the walls of the nonprofit is painted by me. That's back there is one of our community paint session canvases. One of our last ones, which was based around the theme of balance. So that was cool. But yeah, man. I also got like custom pieces here, one-on-one joints that are for sale. So like I said, I do a lot of freestyle work, man, and I think it's dope to do that with clothing because, like you said earlier, it's essentially giving somebody a one-on-one piece. You feel what I'm saying? And I think by doing that, obviously increases the value of the art. You feel me? It increases the value of the piece. Like my clothing brand is not just a normal regular clothing brand. It's me. My clothing brand my brand in general is a lifestyle. You feel what I'm saying? And I just make cool shit to go with that lifestyle. So, right.
Oh man, that's some fire shit, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. You definitely got like a nice just a nice style to your art. Like it's clear, especially after following you on social media for some time, that you do have, like, from a music standpoint, as an artist, you want to have a sound, right?
Right.
Like, is there, like, what would you call the equivalent? Is it just a look? Like what do you call that from a painter standpoint?
A style. You
A
feel what I'm saying?
style.
Yeah, it's a style. Shit. I mean, it's a sound. You feel what I'm saying? It's a sound with that like paintings. They basically how I say like a picture worth a thousand words. You feel what I'm saying? Like painting art. Expresses the unexpressed. You feel what I'm saying? Like it says what words cannot. You know what I mean? So it's like yeah, bro. It's just a unique sound, a unique style. For me, this is just me.
Mm-hmm.
This is who I am, and you know, everything that I'm about, just pulls out of this right here. This is all like my love, my positivity, my affirmations, like everything that I want to see out of the world is there. You feel me? It may look chaotic and it may look like there's a lot going on, but it's beautiful. You feel what I'm saying? It's like you kind of want to jump into that shit. It looks like it's filled with positivity right now as I'm looking at it.
No, man, it's definitely a dope. I really think it's a dope concept. It's a dope vision, and like, I'm definitely cheering for you to see it through to its fullest, because it's positive and it's rooted in something that ultimately can help a lot of the community when it comes to just expression, when it comes to coping mechanisms, and
Right.
and just when it comes to being fly, man. Like, you tend to feel even better about yourself when you're in your bag as an artist. Like, you just like artist, like when you in your bag as an artist, like, can't nobody really tell you shit when you just did some fly shit, man.
Fact. That's a fact, and like that's part of the reason why, it's taken me a long time, and I'm still building on my clothing. But that's one of the main reasons why some people don't gotta fuck with the art. You know what I mean? Some people don't gotta vibe with that. But when you rocking the AF, you feel what I'm saying? Or when you got that shit on your chest, or when you rocking a custom hoodie, you gonna feel like the flyest motherfucker in town. You feel what I'm saying? Or you gonna feel like, cause that, bro, that's what it's about, bro. It's not about like it's about looking cool and shit like that, but it's about helping people and instilling them with confidence that they never had before. You know what I mean? Whether that's them looking at my art and saying like, "Oh my gosh, somebody understands me," or I can do that too, or putting on a piece of clothing like, "Yo, bro, I'm fucking dope." You feel what I'm saying?
Mm,
Because we all suffer from some type of mental illness, bro. And a lot of times people are not confident, bro. A lot of people are insecure. And if we
yeah.
can be, that positive seed, bro, that I plant a positive seed in your mind that eventually grows, so you be like, you know what? But I can do this. You know what? I'm leaving my job. You feel what I'm saying? Like, you know what? I'm about to go chase my dreams. Like, that's what I want to do. It's not about, bro, it's not about the bread. It's not about none of that shit, bro. It's just about inspiring people on the most simplest level to know that you can do that shit too, bro. Anything. I
Yeah.
don't give a fuck what it is. Chefing. You want to be a professional hiker? Go do that. I don't know. Like, but it's, bro, whatever your heart is calling for, do that shit. That's what this is for, bro. That's what AF stands for, bro. Always following your dreams, bro. Mm.
I like the way you word that. Whatever your heart is calling for, you know what I'm saying? Like, that is long as it's not heroin, that's a great thing. And it's
Yeah,
like,
nah,
no, but it's like no, because I do think, like, we grow up, we live in this society, and we often get shunned away from art. That's not a real job, or it's like you get grown up like, but you got to do something else other than play that instrument or draw a paint over here. It's like you got to do some real work, and it's like people will get shunned away from the thing that just brings them the most joy because they're being forced to fit into this system. And so like I agree with you like in that you should not ignore what makes you happy, and you should make time to commit to the things that bring you that joy that you just can't get other places. Like and
Right.
you should put barriers up around you so that you can continue to do that no matter the relationships you establish moving forward. It's like you you can't let, like, some people stop making music because they get married, and they stop doing this because they do this, and it's like regardless of the relationships around you, whatever brings you that just fulfillment, you can't allow the people around you to trick you into thinking that it's not for you when you just know it feels so good, man.
Right, right, exact, bro. And I'm glad you made that point because I've been on both sides. You feel what I'm saying? Now I'm on the other side where it's like, fuck that. It don't matter what it is. I'm rooted into what I'm doing. But before I have done that, you feel what I'm saying? I've let relationships come into play. I let family talk my head off, or like friends kind of influencing me and not pursuing the things that I love doing. But I think when you have a pure heart, man, no matter how many times you might go around that fucking limbo loop of life, bro, you always gonna find yourself coming back to that door where it's like, are you ready to step through it or not? You feel what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like you have to be aware within yourself enough to be like, you know what? Fuck all this shit, I'm out. You feel what I'm saying? Like it's time to just be like reborn in the sense where, you know, you gonna go all in, bro. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? You're gonna figure out who you are. You're gonna like really just kinda take that time to really connect with source and just get lost in the thing that you love doing, bro. Get lost in your passion, man. Get lost in the things that inspire you and see where it goes, bro. There's no
Yeah.
blueprint for this shit. And that's another scary thing. It's like, bro, there's no blueprint, bro. You figuring it out. You feel what I'm saying? And
That's the blueprint. That
right,
is the blueprint.
there you
Like
go.
like see, that's the thing, like that's the blueprint. And we
Right.
get tricked into thinking that because we don't have it figured out is something wrong, when in reality that's the thing to embrace. You have opportunities to wake up and figure shit out. Like
Oh,
make it a little bit better than it was yesterday, inch a
yes.
little bit closer to that goal you had that's been on your vision board or whatever the case. But it's like that's the journey, figuring
Right,
shit out, because even once you figure that out, it's on to the next challenge. It's on because it never stops. It never stops, and it never goes as planned. So it's like you never want to get complacent and ever thinking you've got it figured out, or you just know how everything is going to go, because you don't have that much control over, you have control, but you have to understand that you don't necessarily know even what you're asking for sometimes. So when you get what you asked for, but you weren't ready to deal with everything that came with what you asked for, that's a different conversation. You feel what I'm saying? That's
oh,
why I
there
say
you
this
go.
also mental, because we often get what we want. We do often get what we want. But damn, I didn't want all that other stuff that came with it. You feel what I'm
Right,
saying?
right, right. That's a fact, man. But all that was there on purpose. You feel what I'm saying? All that was there for a reason. And I got this quote that I say all the time is you create your reality. I got that shit tatted right here. Like it's a reminder that like what you're saying, like every day is a chance to, take a step forward, bro. Like and once you believe that and really sit in that chair to understand that you are the creator of your reality, man, like bro, all that other shit is just now it's just a game at this point. Now it's like
Yeah.
it's a game of chess, bro. Like you wake
Yeah.
up, figure it out, and you don't really let fear or doubt really come into your mind full because you understand that it's gonna be what you make it. You feel what I'm saying? It's gonna be what you put into it. Like I can't say I want to be a full-time artist and then sit on my ass all day. You feel what I'm saying? I can't say I want to be a full-time artist and then not go outside the network or not go outside or not even all that external stuff, but also the internal stuff. You feel what I'm saying? Like not balance, not learn, and not grow as an individual, man. Like, cause bro, this entrepreneurship, bro, and following your purpose, bro, go hand in hand with life, man. You feel what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like a job, bro. You can go to a job and you work a 9 to 5 and you do the same thing every single day. This is not that. This is not that. This shit changes tomorrow, next week, next month. You go back to square one, then you go to level 100, then you go back to level 3. Like it's just a back and forth thing. But if you're able to just be grounded and balanced enough to withstand all the storms and the waves, man, like bro, it's a beautiful fucking journey, bro. It's a
Man,
beautiful. Bro.
the way you word it, man, I gotta admit, like okay, like I gotta admit, like because like I said, I'm born in '87. What year were you
Right.
born?
96.
'96. What's beautiful about what you're saying is that like that generation is somewhat tapped in because I see it right here. You feel what I'm
Right.
saying? Like I do question sometimes like the generation after me, like what the fuck are y'all niggas doing? I ain't gonna lie to you, but like in hearing what you're saying now, I'm like, yo, mentally, I think you really understand what this is. Like I'm just being from my opinion and hearing you speak, like it's impressive to hear how you speak about the reality of the journey and the importance of being grounded regardless of the tide or how the pendulum is swinging, because you have to remain steady to stay the course, like
Right.
and like people talk, this is so then we going, so because there's a story about quote unquote Moses, right, walking through in the Red Sea just parts, right. Now, what
Mm-hmm.
you believe and what you don't believe, you can say whatever. But I think the real takeaway in that sort of story is similar to what you just described, in that when you are grounded and you are true to your purpose and what you are connected with, the obstacles get out the way. There's nothing that will stop you from moving forward. Even if that is seemingly a big sea of water, you just go. Like, you don't be fearful. When you know that's what you're called to do, you gotta fucking do it. And you
Right.
don't let nothing get in your way. And you have embraced that at such an early, in my opinion, an early age. Um, that's impressive to see, and I hope that we have more of that, as we continue to grow, and I hope we have more peers who think the same, because
Right.
that is the way to embrace the journey, how you described it, man. You got to be grounded and you got to be ready to weather whatever storms come your way, because it's just a part of the journey.
Right. 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 You said that so. You said that so well, bro. You said that so well, bro. Because it wasn't even about to get religious with anybody, nothing like that. But yo, bro, like really understanding the true meaning of some of these stories, bro. You feel what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And I think we all have a little bit, of that energy in us, bro, of that spirit in us, man. And you, like I said, bro, I couldn't say that any better, bro. That was a perfect analogy you used, bro. On some real shit. But I appreciate that word.
No doubt, man. Hey, it's the G Shit podcast, man.
Word,
It doesn't
word,
matter
bro.
how you feel.
You already know how we get it in, man. You already know. Like,
Man, that was beautiful, yeah,
I
bro. That was beautiful.
appreciate that. I appreciate that. So look, man, as we get ready to close out, I want you to because people listening, they're gonna get a preview of some of what you're doing with the walls in the background, the merchandise. Like, if I'm not even from North Carolina, how can I get some of your art? If I want you to make a custom piece, how can I reach out to just get a commission, something like? How can I find your uh products and what you offer for sale?
All right, so I mean, first things first is that you can hit me up on IG. You know what I mean? Message me. You can like look at my gallery that's on there. That's how you
And
can
what is the
contact me. The
IG?
fact
What is the
the
IG, just for
IG
the people?
is Alex_BTM. So that's ALEX_BTM.
Mm,
And then second, my website, afartistry.com. That's AFARTISTRY.com. That's where I'll have most of my merch, most of my canvases, stickers, all the little stuff that you can buy that's supporting my brand. And if you want like an original or a custom piece, like I said, you hit me up on IG, you contact me directly, and we'll get you squared away. That's just what that is right there.
word
Yeah,
up.
man.
Word up.
Mm-hmm.
Young brother, I appreciate you. Like, stay the course, keep putting in the work. I'm excited to see what the nonprofit grows into. You know, just throwing it out. I'd love to get some of your business partners on here too to just talk more
Oh yeah,
about mental health therapy and just I don't want to say normalizing it because I think it has somewhat been I would say bastardized to some degree as a marketing ploy,
yeah,
and
yeah.
and I think that from my standpoint, especially for the kids, man, like I know what it's like and how beneficial that was to have those resources at that young age and how that helped me progress through my adulthood. And
Right,
I do have a personal mission to help generationally people who are in that area where they don't necessarily have access to resources or their family doesn't necessarily have access to the right resources to help them go to the next level. And I think highlighting a nonprofit like yours is a great first step in doing so. So if you're in the area, again, can you shout out the nonprofit's website and social media just one more time? So just for the people listening.
nah, I got you. Yeah, yeah. So the website is btmma.com. And then the IG is btm.metamorphic. That's how y'all can contact us and be involved, however y'all want to be involved with That's how you contact us, bro.
No
Yeah.
doubt. All
Yeah,
right.
man.
Any
I,
last words for people listening?
man, look, man. Um, look, I'm an example, my team an example, you an example, you feel what I'm saying? I want anybody that's listening, anybody that's gonna tap in and watch this, man, to understand that, you create your reality. Anything you put your mind to, you can really achieve it. You feel what I'm saying? If you really believe it, man. You're not alone, you feel what I'm saying? It's okay to be vulnerable with your emotions, man. It's okay to express yourself, man, here at the BTM headquarters, man. That's what we provide. We provide a safe space for y'all to do that, man. So y'all never give up, man. You feel what I'm saying? Y'all stay focused on y'all dreams, man, and understand that dreams are real. You create your reality, man. And yeah, man, I appreciate y'all tapping in, bro. I appreciate you having me on this shit, man.
I
Word.
appreciate you joining the podcast. We're going to close it out right here. This is the G Shit Podcast, where we focus on family, friends, finances, freedom, and our future, and fuck everything else. Shout out to the homie Alex for joining us. Shout out to the BTM Collective. I can't even get the whole acronym right. BTM.
MMA.
M- MMA, right?
BCMMA. Yeah.
BTMMA.
Facts. Facts. That shit right there.
This is the G Shit Podcast. We appreciate y'all tuning in. Till next time.
I'm not taking no talk back. See you blink yet?